Yeah, I'm just in the background sometimes.
Yeah.
Just in the background. I'm learning.
Yeah, so...
Okay, sorry, before I go on, would you agree with what I said? Or
Yeah,
I generally the Christian view?
So what I would say about thoughts and stuff, impulses I would ascribe to fallen human nature. Meditation, when you start thinking about it, I think that enters the realm of sin, because Jesus says, so much of you look at a woman with lust, you have already committed adultery, right? So I think there's a distinction between having an impulse thought, then dwelling and thinking on it now and thinking about how you would do it, and then there's the act. I think sin is where you go from impulse to act. Another example of this is Cain, because God says to him, because I know Cain was angry when his sacrifice was rejected, right? So he looked after the animals, Abel looked after the grain. They both offered, so they're already different, right? But I think the reason why God rejected Cain's because it wasn't his best, he was holding back, something like that. I can't remember off the top of my head. But now Cain, for some reason, has compared, instead of actually getting his best, he's compared what he gave with what Abel gave. But they're already given different things, so he's already gone wrong there. But God says to him, listen, sin is creeping at the door of your heart. Master it. Do not let it control you. So there, Cain, I think, had an impulse of killing Abel, but he wasn't thinking about it.
He wasn't seriously considering it.
Exactly, he wasn't seriously considering it. And that's why God warned him. He said it's crouching there, it's there, but it seeks to control you, master it, right? But it mastered him. And I was looking up, I was doing a study on this and looking at the words of what sin and iniquity and all of that means. When it goes from the impulse to the thought, right? And then from the thought to the action, you're left with a guilt. And Cain cries out to God and says, this sin is too much for me to bear, right? But that doesn't, if you just look at the word sin on its own, that doesn't make sense because he's already done it. Yeah. He's talking about what comes with sin, which is the guilt, right? So I guess what I would ask you is, do you feel guilty about things that you hold, that you are? I think even me, as there are things that we do in which we are kind of surprised that I did that, and then you also have to continue your life with, I am the person who did this. I may do all the good things that I like, but I also did this. I think the things that we remember the most in this world are the bad things that we do.
Yeah, it has more of a, so that, for survival reasons, in the instance that a shark comes and attacks you, you want to, your mind's going to store that in memory so that next time not to jump in the water.
But even whether it's a shark attacking me or you lie to someone, the lying could have no bearing on their life.
No, it might not have the only bearing it's on yours.
Exactly. So I feel like, Lewis, the things that we've talked about, okay, can we say that there is a God? So there is a God. We want to know about this loving God, and I'm saying the reason how I know my God is loving is because I would say, unlike all the other religions, he's demonstrated that on the cross.
So, but you don't believe that God is, so when you were talking about demonic entities,
yeah,
and that was just an example of having the distinction between the thought, the dwelling, and the act.
Yeah.
You don't believe that God is, because if God brought everything into existence, he must be all those things. He must be evil, he must be good, he must be, I know it's sort of a logical contradiction, how can you be one thing and another thing at the same time? But if he is, I'm unsure.
I don't know if that makes sense, because the first person who made a car, was he a car?
The first person who made a car was a car. No.
So what do you mean by he has to be all those things to bring it into existence? We are not metal, yet we formed something into metal that transports us.
Yeah, that's a good point.
The attribute I will give you.
Yeah, but we know that the metal is independent from us, or at least it looks like it's independent from us.
Okay, fair. Yeah.
But with God, it's if nothing, I'm just imagining there's a point, God's behind it, and then he was just and then that's everything. But everything inside of that encompasses. It must encompass evil. It must encompass good. It must be both things. And like I know the arguments about
free will and stuff.
Yeah, free will. It's like it literally is impossible for it to exist without having these versions of it. Actually, sorry, this comes to a point that I had that I thought about, which was if God limits our ability to, so we can conceive of God, but we can't perceive it. So like I can see the ocean, but I can't, like I can perceive the ocean, but I can't conceive of its entirety because my eyes aren't wide enough.
But you believe that the ocean is okay,
right?
So that's sufficient.
Yeah, it's sufficient, but it still limits. It's still a limitation on my consciousness.
Limitation in what sense? Because with looking at the ocean, you agree that this is a mass of water. You may not be able to get to its depths, as I'm pretty sure we haven't been able to get to its depths, but we can conceive that this is a mass of water. We may not be able to see all of it, but the conclusion, mass of water, checked. So with God, miracles is an important thing. His manifestations are an important thing, because the miracle to me, the way I define it, is the suspension of natural law. By that happening, something divine is going on. So the burning bush, for example, you have fire that should consume the bush, but it's not, right? And then you also have, and then what then gives the words that come out of that bush weight is because that this is a divine thing that Moses is witnessing. So he knows that this is strange already. So now when it says, go to Egypt, get my people out, there's an authority with that because it's coming from something that's divine, something natural is happening there, right? So miracles is an important thing as to how we know that this points towards God.
Right, okay. So and this was a counter argument with Christians sort of said it wasn't really. Sorry, it wasn't about that particular argument that I just said about how can we continue. Right, it was that I was saying I was struggling with the miracles that Jesus performed, but then he just used a simple analogy and he just went on to say, hey, like you work 9 to 5, right? And I was like, yeah. And he said, but you know, what on Christmas you work 9 to 5, right? And I was like, no. And he was like, what do you mean? Like you always work 9 to 5. That's how it is. It's 9 to 5. I'm like, yeah, but on Christmas you get a day off. And he's like, oh, what? So the laws of like work have just changed all of a sudden. And I was like, oh, okay. And he said, well, why can't? Why couldn't God just change the, like if this is a simulation, if you're looking at it from like a code effect, why couldn't he just change the parameters just for a blimp so that it could come into existence? And I was like, oh, okay, but it's one of those you can't prove.
But plus you would say, even as like if you're using coding, you would know that this person is the master of the code if they can change.
Yes, and it makes logical sense.
Right.
It's not a dumb thing to like think or anything. So yeah, but I sort of sidetracked from the if you can conceive of him. Okay, yeah. So my point. So with the if you can conceive of God.
Okay, conceive. Okay, I remember that. Yeah, go on.
You can conceive of God, but you can't conceive him.
Okay.
Right. So I can see the ocean, right, but I can't see the entire ocean.
Okay.
Then the fact that he's limited my consciousness means that if, for instance, so okay, there's that point. Now with morality, it's like okay, some sorts of suffering don't seem logical in the sense that like it wouldn't change my or most people's ways. It wouldn't change the way that they would conduct themselves. So, for instance, like a genocide, like World War II, the Jews being 6 million of them being killed, or a child being raped. These things seem so extreme that they don't have any bearing on like my ability to not do those things. If you know what I mean? Like there are some forms of pain or good pain. Like when you go exercising, you know that the microtears in your muscles are actually good for you because they're going to build up the muscle. Right?
Oh, okay, I understand.
So if the argument about free will is that in order for free will to exist, you have to have the most extreme forms of suffering, right? Going back to if you can conceive of God but perceive of God, why has he limited our ability to perceive it?
Okay.
Sorry, it's
a lot.
It's multifaceted.
I want to start with the idea of how we can conceive things. You have a mind, yes?
Yes.
You believe you have an immaterial faculty of your being that you can use to see, because you don't see with your eyes, you see with.
Yes. Okay. Yes. I see. Yeah. Like you can't find the color yellow in your brain. Therefore, there is like it must be an immaterial mind.
Right. Okay. So now you're already now asking me questions when you're coming from that's reasoning from an immaterial mind. So we need to ground that in God again, right? Okay. So we need to ground that our immaterial mind has come from God, who is also immaterial. So we've already right. Now the next part was. Remind me, what was the next part after conceiving?
So the fact that with the conceiving and perceiving, the fact that God has limited our ability to be able to perceive it, right? Why does that have no bearing on our free will? So our free will, according to Christianity, or I guess for any other sort of religion, you'd have to morality. The most extreme forms of suffering have to exist in order for us to exercise our free will fully. So then why does not being able to perceive, why does God limit our ability to perceive of Him if that is not, like that is limiting our consciousness anyway, so how can we have free will if our consciousness is fully limited, is somewhat limited?
Okay. When Adam and Eve were made, they were made, I think from the understanding, fully formed. They say Adam was made at the age of 30, so he was made in the 30-year-old body, right? He was given stewardship of Eden, and then he was also given Eve as his helpmate. Now, what's quite interesting about that whole situation is that the one choice or question he's given is, or one commandment he's given is, do not eat the tree of good and evil. Right? There were two trees, the one of life and the one of good and evil. That was the commandment he's given. Right? My own understanding about how the whole Christianity, the whole thing, is we have a choice as to whether to choose God or not. Right? We have a choice whether to pursue the goodness of God or pursue our own good. The suffering that you talk about, all suffering or all evil is the pursuit of God or the pursuit of goodness without God. Hitler, in his mind, does not think he's evil. He thinks he's a good man. I would say the rapist thinks he's...
he's a good man.
Yeah, but yeah. He thinks he's a good man, right? He thinks he's doing good for the good of the Germanic people. Right, or the Sudetenland land. In fact, he thinks taking over the Sudetenland land is what should happen. This is good, right? He thinks that him destroying the Jews is a blessing to the earth, right? He's motivated by what he understands to be good. Even the rapists, as evil as they are doing this because they want to do good for themselves. It's a selfish thing, right? They're taking good. They're taking good for themselves. They're imposing themselves on another, right? With Christianity, God has given us the choice. He's actually, with Jesus Christ, he is actually recreating that very conditions of the Garden of Eden, where what God was basically saying to Adam was, choose the tree or choose me. That's your choice. I've given you everything, with, you can say, limitations or freedom, but the real choice here is whether you choose me or you choose yourself, right? What Christ comes and does is, when he pays for our sins, he recreates the conditions of Adam, in the sense that Adam hadn't sinned when God gave him that choice. When Jesus Christ pays so he redeemed us, when he pays for the penalty of sin, now we are all free to choose God or choose ourselves, right? So when it comes to damnation and all of that, I know it's a difficult, you asked me a very difficult question, I'm trying to formulate as best as I can. But the way I would, or the source or how I encompass all of free will is, am I freely choosing God in this act, or am I freely choosing myself in this act? All your acts that we do, I think, can be derived to whether am I choosing God or am I choosing myself? And that I would say is the anchor of our free will. Are we choosing God or ourselves in this or whatever we're doing?
Yeah, and I understand free will. If you truly have free will, to what we understand free will is, then you could technically do something as atrocious as what Hitler
did,
right? Yeah, I just... yeah, I just have trouble just in the fact that like, yeah, I guess I'm talking about things then that aren't real. Like I'm in my head, I'm thinking like, if God is the architect, then why couldn't he just limit our capacity to a certain degree so that kind of suffering wouldn't exist? Like, yeah, so that kind of suffering wouldn't exist. That's more of a me. Yeah, it's more of a me problem.
Yeah, and I would also say, if you're asking that question, you also have to ask why didn't God make the acceleration due to gravity 10 meters per second squared? Why did it have to be 9.81? Like, it's, I get what you're saying, but it's, you're not, I don't know if you're going to really get like necessarily what you're looking for going like down there.
I can't see behind that.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for your time then. Yeah, no, it was good.
So how close do you think you are to following your brother and going to church? How close are you?
I don't like the songs too much.
Pardon?
I don't necessarily like the songs too much.
I like hymns, to be fair.
I like the hymns as a kid, like, you know, like going to church. To be honest, I don't actually know if kids go to church. I will ask you a question, but I don't know if kids nowadays go to church like I do. Like I think, I don't want to say our age on camera, but I know we're the same age. So I remember going to school as a kid, and like everyone would just get sent to church like on Tuesdays or something. Not all the time, but like nowadays, I think because everything's so mixed and like everyone, you know, we're not like unified anymore. It's like, yeah, I don't know if they do that anymore. They take kids to school and like, you know, they're subjected to that kind of practice or whatever. Like, it's a little sad because it was actually really good for me, everyone as a kid to go to that kind of.
I'll tell you personally, church really doesn't start with the building. It starts with, it's you know, God, Jesus says, when 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, I'm in their midst. That's church.
Yeah,
church starts, to me, yeah. For me, church starts from family, and I think a lot of what a Christian should be raised in, what they should learn, what they should try and understand about their scripture should come from within the family. Church is the well, again, it depends. If you look at the early church, they were all living together, like they were all so close together. So before they even went into church building, they already knew what everyone else knew, how everyone else week went. You know, what people are struggling with, what people are reading in terms of, they know all of that stuff, right? And I think personally what we've missed in our current generation, that we're very individualistic and we're spread out. So when we go to church on the Sunday, that's our one meeting, you know, and we're trying to do everything.
I did like that communal side to it.
Yeah.
I did like the free food.
Yeah.
Like, I think next time I go, I'll give a donation.
You got to go for the Christmas service, man.
I know, but like, you know,
Thursday, Christmas service. Pardon?
Like, I don't want to just be a taker though. Like, I want to like at least give something just so that other people can eat as well, or something like that. So yeah, I just felt a bit bad taking the food. Like, even though I know it's like it's there for everyone.
Listen, that's Jesus Christ, the free gift of God.
Yeah.
He wants us to take. That's actually what he wants us to do. Like he did the work, and he wants us to partake.
Well, I did feel extremely. I did go for seconds. I could have felt that. Okay, I actually got another thought that came into my head.
Okay.
Right? This is one about Islam and Christianity.
Okay.
It's nothing, you know, insane. It's just, so if someone who claims to be Muslim and someone that claims to be Christian, right? So you're Muslim and you believe in Allah, and you're trying to like connect the source, right? Because most people that are religious, I don't believe that they go into the depths of like reading a book that cross-references archaeological sites.
Yeah, most people don't.
Most people don't. They just have a natural inclination, a conviction to believe in something, right?
Yeah.
And that's it. Like if you say, you know, anything anti-God or whatever, they're just like, you know, go away. I don't want to know you. Blah blah blah. Right?
So I was gonna say that's why. Sorry, don't cut you off. That's why my scripture tells me to work out my salvation with fear and trembling.
Okay.
Like, we are to test and approve as well. That's Romans 12:2. Test and approve the will of God. So they test and approve so that you may know what is good and pleasing, the perfect will of God. Right?
I'll check that out.
Romans 12:2. So that's something that I personally feel like we don't. I agree with you. A lot of Christians kind of just go on the train and adjust, but you know where our scriptures come from, or the studying involved with it.
But I know if you're Christians and they say, "Oh, I've been saved," and I'd roll my eyes like the, you know, I wouldn't appeal from it because I just thought that's just, you know, like, okay, cool, man.
Just
like,
terminology.
Yeah, I personally haven't felt that conviction. Well, like at the time that they said, right? So, I'm interested in, right, so someone that claims Islam is the truth or whatever, and they're praying to Allah or whatever, and then someone that like believes in Christianity and they're praying to Jesus, right, or you know, like trying to connect to Jesus and like through that they can connect to God or whatever, right? When they're connecting to Source, okay, are they right? But bear in mind that they might be having imagery of someone who might look Middle Eastern, or like I know Jesus probably did look Middle Eastern. Like some people might see Jesus as like a white guy or something, or you know, some people will see. I don't think there's anywhere in the world where someone would see Muhammad as not I'm not too sure what his descent is, to be honest. I'm not too sure where his origins are from.
Is he from the Qurayshi tribe? I think.
The Qurayshi tribe or something like that, right? So when they're praying, are they praying to the same God? Right? Or like, do you know what I mean? There's going to be some, you know, like here's Jesus, I'm praying to Jesus. So I should have done it like that. Like,
So in other words, every religion, are you saying that, are they praying to that same one being?
Yeah, are they connected? Like it's something that's not necessarily verifiable unless you actually ask people. But like, you know, are they connecting? Are they connecting to a false idol? And if so, is that false idol an existing entity? Like, is it separate from, or is it that actually no, you're both connected to Source, but like just the way you got there was a bit different.
Okay.
You know, but I'm not going to go into the crannies of like, you know, the main sort of issues that people have with, particularly with Islam.
But what? Okay, to answer that. I'm trying to remember this scripture now. This is the armor of. This is like the passage about the armor of God. This is Ephesians 6:10 to 17. Finally, brethren, be strong in the might. Be strong in the Lord and in the strength of His might. Put on the whole armor of God that you may be able to resist the wiles of the devil. To resist the wiles of the devil. I think I can't remember. Let me bring it up.
That's
Let me
right,
bring it
man.
up.
I don't think I know a single verse off my heart.
You always feel great when you can say the verse off the top of your head, like.
I think as well, like just being on camera, it's like there's a little bit of pressure for me at least.
Okay, yeah. For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against powers, against principalities, about the rulers of darkness of this age, against the spiritual host of the heavenly places. That's what I wanted to talk about. So the rulers of darkness of this age against the spiritual hosts of the heavenly places. That's what I would say is when someone is worshipping another in a different religion, another god, that to me is a demonic entity.
And okay, all right, okay. With demonic, okay, I know that it's not necessarily I would expect like the perceiving of like, you know, are they connected to a false idol or not? My onto that, the demonic entity thing, and you might not be able to answer. Just did God, if He created everything, then He must have created those demonic entities, or at least those, or you know, are those demonic entities? Were they conscious entities that you know
could freely choose?
Were a clean slate that could freely choose, and then they went down this path.
So, from what we know, they're led by Satan. And we also know that they are united in effort because Jesus says a house divided against itself cannot stand, right? So the whole angelic and demonic theory, to be fair, I haven't studied too much on that myself. It's not something that I look at generally, but from what I know, I think Satan had a choice as well. The nature as to why he decides not to come back has got to do with his pride. He knows the scriptures and the like as much as everyone, better than me. He would have been able to recite that scripture that I was trying to bring up. But for him, his issue is pride, and I think probably pride is the number one thing in which a lot of sins stem from, because it's the choosing of self, right? All the sins is always my will over God's will, right? And Satan is the king of that. it's my will. I want to do the way I want to do it. I want to be the most. I want to be the supreme being. And so then we have the fall of angel, and he's again, don't know how, but he's able to convince a third of the angels, and now they are following him. They're all united in effort, and they're warring against God. So that's the from what I can say now. That's what I can explain in terms of angelic and demonic theology. Yeah.
I have had. No, I always had that experience. Actually, I have had it. Like, I don't know whether I was hallucinating or not. I don't think I was, but yeah, I did have a demonic. Like literally something in front of me, and I was trembling, and I could sleep in that room. I had like keyboard bloody like tapping.
Sounds like you were receiving revelation from Angel Gabriel, like Muhammad.
Oh wait,
no, I'm joking.
Oh, okay, all right. Yeah, no, I just yeah, no. There were my questions really. I guess the other, you might have already answered about prayer, and just saying like, what is the like? Did Jesus ever say like you have to pray to God? Like, did he ever like command it as if it was like?
Did your brother? I don't know. Did your brother ever say you have to speak to me? I mean, if you like him, you would want to speak to him, right?
Yeah, of course.
Same with prayer.
My brother said you back to me. That's what he said.
I'm not barring you, am I?
No.
But
you have to pray.
So Jesus says when you pray, and then give the assumption you guys are going to pray.
Yeah.
This is how you do it. So when you pray, pray starts.
Because Christianity is the relationship. You gotta talk, and he's saying this is how you should do it. But if you can't have a relationship and no one's speaking or no one's communicating, so that's what prayer is for us.
Okay.
How about the famous Lord's Prayer?
About what?
Where Jesus said, when you pray, say, Our Father.
Who art in heaven. The framework of how we pray, yeah.
Okay, and then one more thing, and it's about homosexuality. So when I started reading the first couple of lines of Corinthians, from the get-go, it was like, right guys, is it okay if I swear? I don't know if it's an issue on camera.
I mean, I don't swear myself, but yeah,
well,
freedom of speech and all.
Well, it said homosexuality is an abomination, and in my head I thought, I don't think Jesus went, by the way, guys, you know, the cock up the arse thing. That's just not cool. Right? I don't think he said that.
But I think he affirmed that marriage is between one man and one wife.
Yeah, one man, one. Okay, right. But like from a moral point of view, with maybe back then it would make sense because the world population was about, I don't know if this is correct, but I think it was something like 250,000 people. So it was a very small amount of people. And like, you know, if people were, you know, just like if a vast percentage of people were gay, you know, they're very unlikely to propagate their genes, and then the human race couldn't keep surviving and you know, making the world like what it is today, right? That makes sense. Okay, but then it gets to a point where like you can actually like argue positives of being gay, like in a family, like if you're from a larger family, you're actually more likely to. And being gay, like from a social economic point of view, you could be in a relationship with someone that's like far better off than you, and it might bump you up that sort of hierarchy being able to provide for the family. If, let's say you're not fully gay, or like homosexual or something, right? Why is it a moral sin to engage in homosexuality when it's like for instance, when you said love, like obviously I couldn't fully define it, but like I can't see an issue with like fully loving someone for their essence as opposed to like their physical characteristics. Okay. And so I just have a massive, in modern times, I just find it hard to reconcile why it is morally wrong to be gay. Like in the disease argument, like, oh, you know, like gay men in the I think it was like 70s, like they were giving, or 80s, they were giving, like they spread AIDS because they were having sex a lot more and like unsafe sex. I mean, I would say AIDS didn't come from being gay; it came from like a chimp or something.
Yeah,
right, and then some crazy guy must have like had sex with a chimp. Yeah. Right. So. I do, like, and you could argue like you can actually get sexually transmitted diseases or just STIs from just having normal sex. Like, you could have nothing and still get an STI just because like that woman might have a certain level of bacterium in her and then you get an infection in your cells, right? So that argument falls short. I just haven't heard anything compelling that, like, if everyone was gay tomorrow, it'd be a massive problem. It'd be a huge problem.
We'll all die out.
Something would have to be mandated. The government would have to say, right, if you do this, like, you know what I mean? Well, I mean, they probably wouldn't because they'd be gay themselves. But yeah, I can't see the moral issue of being gay.
Okay.
I can't see it.
Okay, this.
Other than some people, they might feel physically like bleh when they see two guys kissing, whatever, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Like feeling that way, it just means you're not gay, right? But yeah, that's it. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And like what came like when you're at school, people would always say like, oh, it's a bit gay, it's a bit gay. So there was some sort of corrective nature to it. Like I think nature's trying to say like, no, like that's not like the ultimate purpose. You know, like
that's not the main rule.
Yeah, the main rule is propagate your genes. Like evolution teaches that. It's like that's the main reason, supposedly. Like but yeah, I just other than that, there's no sort of answer I can see where it's wrong.
Not to be too graphic for the viewers and stuff, but right. In terms of homosexuality, because I've thought about it too as well. So we need to start again from what love is, because the way that anyone would justify homosexuality being good is they would say it is loving. Now, if loving is sacrificial, right, and I will also add that love produces. Now, I'm not just talking necessarily about children, but if we look at the Trinity, that God is love, and God, the love, produced creation, right? Now, when we look at, again, it depends how anyone looks at it with their own perspective. But when you look at the same-sex relationships, it can't produce, and it's hard for it to also even produce in terms of community as well. Reason being I'm saying this is that even if you had a married couple who couldn't have children, they could still be a mother father figure in what we would say the community of the church or the body of the church, or they adopt and stuff like that. But when you have two of the same sex, even when you look at the relationship itself, again, people may say this is just colloquial or whatever, but you see one slightly conforms to one sex and one slightly conforms to the other sex. I find it's very rare that you find that they're completely balanced and equal in terms of, let's say, the roles that they have within the relationship, which is similar to the man and the woman, right?
Yeah, like there's a distinct difference between, like the energy that your mother gives. I mean, I'm fortunate enough to have a very loving mother, but like compared to the energy that like your father might give, right, might be a bit more dominant, a bit more like, don't do that, son, and then you're like, oh, okay.
Or even in relation to themselves. I mean, what do they say? Again, not to be too graphic, but one is a top, one is a bottom. They're conforming to an ideal, right? And like I said, there has to be, and I think this is the whole thing again about Christianity in terms of love and stuff, and even free will and disobedience. We have desires for things. Homosexuality is not the only sin. Adultery is one as well. I could be married to a woman, but I can still have a desire for another woman.
But that one's a bit more clear cut. What's wrong? It's a bit more clear cut. It's because like you might be financially tied. There's that emotional tie. There's a level of like you value loyalty. You value like so to totally do that just out of for lustful reasons. That makes sense why we see that as wrong. But for homosexuality, other than I get your point about like mother and father extremely.
So for what reason does the homosexual person need to have sex with the other man if it's not just out of lust? Because like again, men and women do this too, which we also have a problem with when it's outside of marriage or it's breaching marriage. But again, I'm going from the foundation that
sorry, I don't mean to.
You go. No, but I would say if it's that love is sacrificial and it produces, then that what we say is when a man and woman are having sex, they're actually reaffirming the covenant that they've made with God as to how they have been married in the first place, right? And if a man and a man are doing it, then I mean, they're fulfilling.
Sorry.
Yeah. Listen, you learn a lot at Speaker's Corner.
Can I just say something?
Yeah.
I had a thought. And I thought, well, actually, from human history, I guess contraception didn't exist. And if you were to have, like, sex with a man, it'd actually be quite dangerous in terms of, like, you're physically getting crap, right? Right. I'm just saying how it is. So no, but
Yeah.
right. So
Man.
technically, like if you eat too much, I wouldn't like when people like promote people like being fat, like it's a great thing. It's actually not. It's unhealthy. So I would say that you are indulging in a unhealthy practice, like, but with the intervention of contraception, it totally eradicates that problem. Like, I'm not
Really?
I'm not even too sure if contraception for gay people, but I'm not too sure if that would. It wouldn't totally mitigate the risk though.
Yeah, but even with that then is an issue of morality. Just so can someone just continually gorge themselves and then vomit it out? That's what the Romans did. They continually gorged themselves, just indulgence, and then vomited it out. They didn't get fat, but we still. What I would say there's something wrong here. They're just eating food and then throwing up. Yes, they're not getting fat, but there's an indulgence. So that's why I think when I look at the topic of homosexuality, I think that there is a self-gratifying indulgence there that is not. It's not the same when you see it in a heterosexual couple. The love there is. Pardon?
Why is it wrong?
Pardon?
Why is it wrong?
I think that's what we're trying to get to the crux of. Yeah.
Because well, if it's an indulgence, then it's not love, and if it's not love, then it's not of God, and if it's not of God, that's the logic. That's the logical ladder of that.
Then you're presupposing that what follows from God is truth, right? Like love would be good, man and woman sex is good because it comes from God, and the other side doesn't come from God. You're rejecting that completely. On the other side, if there is no God, then the whole platform is open.
But from my other side, if there's no God, there's no existence. So we need to first get to why we're even existing if there's no God, before we even get to exactly.
Like, you believe you exist, right? You don't need God to believe that you exist.
Really? You believe you exist?
Sort of.
You can't say sort of. You can't oppose. Do you believe or not?
Like in my own, like
I
I
know.
believe I can perceive. I have the ability to perceive, right? And in that perception,
Really? What does it mean to have the ability to perceive?
like you have built models about the world, which are not exactly real about the world. I make predictions, right? And I have
Are those predictions true?
not entirely.
Are those predictions
Not
subjective?
entirely. Yes.
So then,
Let me finish my point before you jump in. So I have predictions in my head, which
yeah.
It was morality, homosexuality,
Yeah.
how they connect. So if you introduce maybe your point, as long as it's connected to morality.
so I have no problem.
Yeah.
I would say
so
morality
he's saying morality,
comes from God.
yeah, the rule, the measure is God.
Yeah.
So if you introduce your topic
Yeah.
based on that, let's keep
No
it
problem,
tight.
no problem.
Because if we
I'm-
start questioning whether you exist, whether you are
Yeah,
alive
exactly.
now,
That's no problem. Yeah, like I would say, morality comes from us humans. We create our own moralities, ethics.
I can't believe that.
It's a weak argument because then if that's the case, if I go shoot up a school, a bunch of kids, and you tell me it's wrong, I'd ask you why is it wrong? If you say, oh, because it's not right, it makes me feel bad, it makes everyone else feel bad, it's not conducive to survival. I'd say, well, why does that matter?
Lewis, make sure you go to church on Christmas Day. Okay? Will you go? Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Great.
Even if even if you say that, right? Like even if somebody who actually does that because they feel good shooting up kids.
Yeah, they feel good. It's good for them.
Yes, But like as a society, we have to make sure like what is good and what is and we have defined what is good in that sense.
If good is subjective, then it doesn't. Your version of good holds no, like it holds no like grounds in material reality.
Absolutely.
So it means your version of good is complete bullshit. It's not. It's
Same with that society's version of good.
Yes, it's all made up.
Well, it's not. Sorry, I don't mean to say it like that. Not that it's complete bullshit, but like it's.
I wouldn't use that word,
Yeah,
but
sorry,
yeah.
apologies if I'm sorry. I should cut down on this swearing, but it is more. It's just grounded on like evolutionary reasons, like for survival, right? But then we go to questions of like why are we even surviving? Why does life even need to exist in the first place?
Why should we survive?
Yeah, like it doesn't exist outside of ourselves. Right? It's internally we have to look, why we are surviving, why is that good. Internally we have to figure that out. And if you say
No, but when you say why,
God
sorry.
is the one who's giving it, and He's the one who's giving objective morality for all humans, you're saying it's come from a subjective mind. Like morality would come subjectively to you. And even now, like with religion,
So this is simply what you asked earlier, right? Yeah. So I said that the morality is a reflection of the nature of God. Same like the laws of logic is a reflection of the natures of God.
yeah, again, then you're like putting boundaries on God, what God is, and like what you're saying. God is good. Right?
God is
God
what?
is good.
Yeah.
God is logic. God is time. God is
Yeah, but what you're actually, God is good because good, I guess goodness is God in the sense. So you're separating God and goodness. What is your
While I
definition?
shouldn't.
Huh?
While I shouldn't be separated, right?
No, because I'm saying that what is good, what is logic, what is those things are a reflection of God, right?
So Jesus is not.
So in other words, those the laws of logic, morality, they are grounded in God, right? But what you're trying, no, what it sounds like you're saying is, you've got what you define as good, then you're saying what is God, and you're trying to connect the two or something like
I'm
that.
not trying to, I'm trying to understand what your position is, because you're saying God is good, morality is grounded with God.
Yeah, grounded in God. Yeah.
But with that, again, there's so many problems here in the earth, where there's so many different religions, people believing in different moralities, and there's like no set of objective morality that you go by. Or like God has not set that standard, like you said.
He did it with the Ten Commandments,
But like,
and he wrote it with his own finger. Like that's
but
so.
people don't believe that, like as a standard. Like you said, logic as a standard.
But people don't believe that the world is sphere. Like just
but
because
God
people
didn't say that.
what I'm saying is just because people may not believe in something doesn't mean it's true or untrue.
I'm saying it's like if to be objective, right? Like to be mind independent. Like without my feelings or without my prejudices, I cannot affect this moral standard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same with the laws of logic.
Same with all the morality.
Yeah,
that you preach.
regardless of your feelings,
Yeah.
there's nothing you can do with the law of identity, right?
Yes, exactly. That's
So
like my point is.
so the law of identity to you is objective. Okay, so then how
Still mind, like it's still mind dependent.
is it
Logic is mind dependent.
but it's mind dependent, yes, but does it come from your mind?
Like
So you are the source of the laws of logic.
not the source.
So if you died tomorrow, like
Would we start floating?
No.
Right.
Like
So you are, by your admittance, you already say that the laws of logic are independent of you. These
I
images,
didn't say that.
you
He's
do.
not saying it's a law. Everything is inference, right? But the thing is, do you wake up tomorrow thinking that gravity will still be there?
Yeah.
Right, but that's purely by inference.
Yes.
There's no such thing as laws that govern.
Exactly.
Right,
yeah.
but by that logic, you can't give a moral ought for anything.
Yeah, I'm not giving a moral law for anything. I'm just saying morals are subjective. That like we create.
No, but that's an objective statement.
How?
To say that morality is
It's something that's created.
Yeah. Or subjective. Saying morality is subjective is
Yeah.
in itself an objective
It's
statement.
How?
Because you're saying it's subjective for everybody.
Yeah, but like you cannot prove that like to be an objective fact. I can make claims about like my mind is making subjective claims about being objective or whatever.
But you can't hold
prove
them-
it to be objective.
And you also can't hold on to them as if they're objective.
Yes, you cannot.
Yeah. So when you say that we all have, everyone has subjective morality, you're actually making an objective claim about reality that everyone has subjective claims. But you're also saying at the same time there's no such thing as objective. No, wait, you're saying.
I cannot objectively prove that.
Yeah, so then this is you're floating.
Wait, you can objectively prove that?
I cannot objectively.
If you can't objectively, you're just floating.
You cannot objectively prove anything.
Yeah, so then you're really just floating. There's nothing really. There's nothing really you can assert or claim or anything.
That's fine. I think you guys are the ones who have to prove that there is an objective standard.
No, but the problem is your life, the way you live it.
It's hypocritical to your. It's hypocritical to what you believe.
Yeah. So
You assume and believe that there's such. In other words, you're being a hypocrite in a sense. You are saying to us we've got to prove something that you use all the time as if it's very real. That's unfair.
Well, I'm not making any truth claims.
You are no. The fact. Are we communicating right now?
Yes.
When you say sentences, are those sentences adhering to the law of logic?
Yeah.
Right. Are the law of logic? Are they true? Are they objective?
True. I don't know. I don't think they're objective.
Then you can't believe we're communicating right now. You can't believe that we're both. Pardon?
Not to a complete certainty.
Right.
Okay. So
can you answer why you do this?
What do you mean?
Why are you doing this?
What do you mean? Why am I doing it?
The act of communicating something to him.
It's like we are wired to do that. Like, I don't understand.
No, but you're just pointing back to another mechanism.
Mm-hmm.
You're not answering a why. That's not a why. That's just a how.
Mm-hmm. Like you're asking me why do humans communicate?
Why do you wake up every morning? What's the point?
I don't know, to survive. To reproduce,
Right. Okay. So,
like,
there's a gap there in your philosophy.
Yeah.
Now, what if something can fill that gap and explain reality?
brilliant.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So when we as Christians ground logic in God, we can then affirm that laws of logic are essentially
invariant, omnipresent.
So without grounding logic to a God, you cannot use logic.
Not that you can't use it, you can't justify its use.
I'm not before we even going to justify anything.
No. As in you can't. No. You cannot. Yeah, don't you get? You're using something.
I can use it.
Yeah. Yes, you're using something that at the very same time you're saying doesn't actually exist.
Yeah. But like
that doesn't make sense.
You're saying it's grounded in God, and you cannot prove God.
Can I interject? So something that before the camera came on, my older brother, we were discussing yesterday, and it was this, right? So in quantum mechanics, it's like I haven't read too much of it, but I just know this is a genuinely like accepted term. That in order for there to anything to exist, there has to be a conscious observer to perceive it, right? So there's your code. I have to be perceiving it. Everyone else has to be like at one point has to perceive it, otherwise it doesn't exist in reality, right? And so if tomorrow every conscious, like aliens, like if they exist, humans, anything that can conceive of what your code, perceive of what your code is. If that suddenly tomorrow just was wiped from the face of Earth, right, and in the reality we live in, we know that things exist, right, so if we wipe every conscious entity from Earth, it's possible to do that, right, then what would be the thing that would have to, what contingent mind would have to exist in order for reality to exist?
At least a perceiving mind, right?
It points to a God, doesn't it? It points to a conscious mind of some kind.
It should point to a perceiving mind. Or
perceiving mind.
But like again, if tomorrow every conscious, every perceiving mind is gone, then you also have to include God in that equation as well, because God is also that mind. Take all of that out, then there will be nothing exists.
But something exists. That's the point of what he asks. He said, listen to what he said. He said, if all life disappeared on Earth, do you think Earth now disappears?
Before what he
that's what he's asking.
Before he asked to something to exist, you have to have a mind that perceives.
Right.
So if a mind doesn't perceive it, it's not there, then there's nothing there.
Yeah, but now something is here.
How do we know that? We perceive it.
Oh, come on, man. Are you standing in Hyde Park or not?
Yeah, we are perceiving it to be.
Right, okay. So when we are all out of Hyde Park, is Hyde Park here?
Yeah.
When we are all disappeared from Earth, when all humanity has died, or prior to when there was humanity, was there still an Earth? You don't know. I can't do this, Joel. I can't do this all the time with you, man.
Can I ask you a question?
Does history exist? Does history exist?
Before I answer that question, can I ask you a question? like the same.
I'm not sure if he's really here, so it's very
Come on,
difficult.
brother. I want to ask you a question. Like you asked me before, humans existed. Was there one God? I want to ask you the same question.
Was there what?
Was there one God? That was your one. Was there one Earth?
Yeah.
I want to ask you the same question. Before humans ever on Earth, was there one Earth?
Yes. Yes.
How do you know that?
Pardon?
How do you know that?
Based on the laws of logic.
Can you prove that? Can you prove there was only one Earth? Based on logic, can you prove that there was only one Earth?
Yeah, the logic that will take me to science and maths will point towards there having to be an Earth to house human life so that we can have human life and we can be here
What do
today.
you mean having an Earth?
Wait, so are you asking did Earth exist before any conscious mind?
No. How did you conclude there was only one Earth?
Through science.
Like you saying through science doesn't prove anything. Like science tells us Earth formed by the formation of the sun.
Yeah.
And before Earth formation, there were colliding of different rocks. There was like no one.
But did that happen?
There was no one.
Did that happen?
Of course it happened. Like you asked me if there was one Earth. There was not like one Earth. It was formation.
Oh,
of
come on.
many-
Did it form into one Earth? Like,
Yeah,
come on, bro.
Okay, yeah, I can
That's
say
the question I'm
many-
asking.
I can say many.
Before
like,
there were any humans on the Earth, we know that there was a state in which I guess the Earth was sterile because the atmosphere and stuff, it hadn't condensed. If you look at the stages at how Earth formed and how it formed an atmosphere, there'll be a point where there could have been no human life on Earth.
Yeah.
I see. Sorry, I think I know what you're getting at. Are you saying basically like because Christianity like preaches day one, day two, it's like it sort of isn't conducive with like the theory that that's generally accepted that like Earth wasn't just like the one body it is now. Like it had to evolve into I don't necessarily think that. Like I'm not. Like I said, I don't claim to be Christian, although.
You sounded like one. All glory be to God, man.
I don't think that necessarily like disputes like Genesis when it's saying like day
No,
one.
I'm not going to Genesis either.
He's just saying the concept of there being one Earth before there's any human perceive it. I'm saying yes. He's saying he's not sure.
Yes, but there was still a contingent mind in the universe too.
Yeah,
You don't know if there was any. You don't know. How do we know that?
Yeah, but if you're saying that, you're putting into question everything before you started perceiving anything. You're saying you are.
You could never 100% know. I agree with that. But like if there was a weighing scale and then it was like God exists, it's more likely he exists than not. Would you then continue your life living in the middle?
I mean, then, like,
That's what faith is. That's what we was talking about earlier.
But then I have to investigate why do I think that God is more likely?
Yes, of course.
Yes, but like when I do that, it's not necessary. God is more likely. You must think
Well, you believe that if God isn't more likely.
God is not more likely. Like God is like all.
You'd have to come up with a compelling.
Like for me, all ideas of God as human made. Every story, everything is we know about God is like through human.
And what happens if you have a God that manifests himself in creation, where you then have testimony written of him? What do you do then?
Can you explain?
The Bible, the Gospels.
What do you mean by like a God?
What happens if you have a God that manifests himself in creation, in which people can write testimony about him, and there's historical accounts of what he's done. What then?
Like I'm still like not sure on the purpose of what like God want to do. Like does he want everybody to know that God exists?
Have you read the Gospels?
A little bit, not a lot.
Okay, I think you need to read. I think you should read the Gospels.
The
Number
thing
one.
is, no matter what, you won't accept any evidence though, because you have no paradigm
Like,
for evidence.
That's not what I'm saying. Like I wouldn't know what kind of evidence would convince me. Only God knows.
Right, but
Well,
again,
so-
that you've made an affirmative statement, an objective statement,
Yeah.
without grounding it, which means you've already dismissed all possible evidence.
Because like the evidence
Yeah,
is
that's true. Yeah.
because the evidences that you're claiming to be evidence are not the standard that I would say.
But
Yes, they are.
You cannot have a standard. Is the point?
Bro, yes they are. That's how. I mean, in a court of law, you need testimony. Like,
Testimonies are the weakest evidence of.
but you need testimony. Like,
the weakest form
it's
of
no, it's
evidence.
quite strong.
It's the weakest.
And guess
Like,
what? Guess what? You're judged by your peers.
Can human testimonies be wrong?
Pardon?
Can human testimony be wrong?
No, but when you corroborate it
Can
with,
it be wrong?
it can be wrong.
Yes.
But when you corroborate it with evidence, right? You can build a compelling case,
Okay, then
right?
it's fine.
So is there evidence of a guy called Pontius Pilate? Is there a guy? See, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's a
I
guy.
agree, yeah.
So there was a guy called Pontius Pilate. There was a guy called Jesus Christ who was crucified under Pontius Pilate. There was a tomb that he was put in, right? Now, according to the accounts, they saw his resurrected body. You can see the tomb, and if you look at all of history, no one knows where his body's gone, right? So it's now up to you. This is where faith comes in. You've got evidence. You can
Okay, if I have the evidence, why is there a need of faith?
Bro, that's what faith is.
What is faith?
Faith is trust, having confidence in something,
Faith,
right?
what
Hold
I
on, wait.
believe is faith is lack of evidence.
No, it isn't.
Believe in something in lack of evidence.
Not in the Bible.
No, not even. That's what you're describing is blind faith. If
Okay, come on. Like you're
yeah, I would. No, I'm not. I know.
Blind faith.
Yeah, I'm defining it. I'll tell you. I'll give you an example of blind faith. If I told you right now that I could run faster than Usain Bolt, right? Do you have any reason to believe me? That's blind faith. Hold on. Wait. No, wait. It's blind faith. No, wait. No, hold on. Listen for a second, Joel. Right? If I just said that, I just said I can run faster than Usain Bolt. I'm the fastest man alive, right? And you've never seen me run track. That's blind faith.
I wouldn't believe you. But yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
Now, if I ran track and I ran, what's his world record? 9.68?
Yeah, you beat it. Yeah.
No, I run 9.7.
Yeah.
Right? And I say, listen, it's a bad day, but trust me, I'm faster. There's a difference between me just making that statement and me running 100 meters in 9.7 seconds. Now you have more. You have reason to have faith in when I say I'm faster than Usain Bolt.
Why?
You have more than what? Of course you do.
You haven't still run faster than Usain Bolt.
No, but the point.
Reason do I have
No,
to
but
believe
the
in
point is because you see me run a
doesn't
9.7.
prove.
No, hold on. My claim. Listen. What we're trying to check is if you have faith in the claim that I'm making. The claim I make is I'm faster than Usain Bolt. You see me run the run. You see me run the one time. I run 9.7. I still make that claim. Are you going to be more sure or less sure than when I first made the claim without running? Are you going to be more or less sure?
I'll be less sure.
Huh?
I'll be less sure. No, because he still hasn't proven his
That's what I'm saying.
claim.
He has no
He's
standard
zero.
for
Yo, that's
evidence
crazy.
himself.
He's 0.0000.
You're telling me that if I just said to you, if I said to you I run faster than Usain Bolt right now, you would trust my word more than see me run a 9.7 100-meter track.
No.
It's
He doesn't like try
0.00
not to
away from
understand it.
claiming that.
Yo, wait, so you would trust me more after I've run the 9.7?
I would not.
Why
I would
not?
What?
Like his claim is, let's understand this. Your claim is you can run faster than Usain Bolt.
Yes.
As an outsider, you're saying I would not believe, but by faith, if I believe that, that's blind faith.
Just by me saying it,
Just
yes.
by you saying
Yes.
it. But if he run and didn't prove to me that he runs faster than Usain Bolt, but he still ran.
He's 0.000 away from.
That's fine. It's still out of the way.
No,
It's
but
still not
do
proved.
you
No, but
believe
no,
him
but no.
more or less?
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter more or less. He still hasn't proven his claim to be true. It's still like that blind faith or faith that you guys still call it. Like, it's still fake. If I believe.
Nah, that's Joe. This is crazy, bro.
After he run, right?
Right.
I believe. Okay.
You're telling me there would be.
Let me finish,
Oh,
bro.
sorry.
Sorry. After you run, and I say, okay, now I believe you run faster than Usain, and you're saying that's fake, right?
No, you can say no. Hold on. Yeah, you can say I believe you run faster. You had a bad day today.
Yeah.
0.02
And
seconds
I'm
off.
saying, okay, now I have faith in you that you can run faster.
Yeah.
And I'm saying I would not hold that position because you still haven't proven your.
Then you can't hold a position. That means you can't hold on. Wait, I'm gonna have to say you cannot hold a position for anything in reality. Then you can't, because everything works by faith. I hope when you leave the park you check the ground, because you didn't walk on the ground. You don't know if it's made of like ice cream and you just fall through it. You need to check it every time you make a step, because you haven't walked everywhere on earth. right?
But he's fine with that.
But he's fine with that. You're taking these things for granted and you're playing.
Like, you do take some things for granted.
I'll say another example.
That's faith. That you're exercising there, based on the evidence.
You assert more blind faith than.
But there's like nobody making a claim though. Like I'm not making
the opposite.
No,
the ground has
just
not
because
made a claim.
not because you don't have to make a verbal claim that the ground is solid, it's going to take my weight when I step on it. The point is that the reason why you take
the ground doesn't require my faith, does it?
your faith. You have faith in the ground to hold you up.
Faith in the absence of any
You have
evidence.
How do you trust
That's what it
Like
is.
the ground has added more evidence from the day I was born till now.
Yeah, but
has given me evidence. that it was
Have you
not
walked everywhere on earth?
faith. No, of course.
Right. So when you go to a new place on earth, why don't you test the ground? Why do you watch
have
and
to.
why do you watch?
Sometimes you have
Why
to.
do you watch and see like, are these guys going to start sinking?
Dude,
Like,
sometimes you
Because he
have
has
to.
faith.
Sometimes you have to test the ground you walk in. Sometimes you have to.
So when you cross the road, you know that
He only has faith in
you
the
check,
absence of
you're
any
almost 100% that a car's not going to come out of, just out
of the blue.
Just boom, right? You know from a probability perspective that there is that slight chance that you just like your perception misjudged it, and then when you cross, you actually get hit by a car. Because I feel like you're getting confused about, or not confused, like inflating. I can't remember the right word is, but I feel like you're misconstruing. That's the word. Misconstruing the difference between like the word faith and something else. So like when you cross the road, you're never 100% sure. Surely that term, like not being 100% sure, is faith. You take a leap of faith to cross the road. So
guys, can we pray for Lewis? I'm not kidding. We need to pray for Lewis. 100%. Please be praying for Lewis. Yeah.
he's meant to like be ahead of me, not like be.
This guy, you know when Jesus said to the Pharisee that you're not far from the kingdom of heaven. I honestly be praying for Lewis. But yeah.
But I would still not say it's like not faith. It's like ignorance. It's like you're dealing in ignorance. You don't have full knowledge of.
No, but it's ignorance if you have no evidence at all.
And if you mean no evidence at all.
If you've never experienced, if I say that like I believe in a tooth fairy, right? I believe a tooth fairy exists, but none of my teeth have fallen out and I've never had a coin under my bed. That's a ridiculous statement, right? That's ignorance, right? I have no reason
You can have
to
faith in that.
No, it's ignorant. That's blind faith. That's the ignorance you're talking about, right? Hold on, wait.
Okay.
But then when, after I'm growing up, I put my tooth under the bed and a couple coins, I have some evidence to believe in this tooth fairy now. Obviously, when I get older, it's mum and dad or whatever. But that is how you go from ignorance to an evidential faith.
No, it's not. Because from ignorance, you will not get to a tooth fairy.
Pardon?
From ignorance, you will not get to a tooth fairy.
Yeah, that's blind faith.
You cannot put blind, like for me, faith itself is blind. So you cannot say blind faith.
I think he only sees it in binary terms. Do you believe in something like such a thing as probability?
Yeah.
Do you believe it works on a spectrum, on a matter of degrees?
Yeah.
Okay, so if we go back to the example of him running, right? If he made the claim without any proof, is that a 0% chance? Do you have 0% epistemic certainty that he could do this?
It's really unlikely.
Okay.
Really unlikely or not?
That's
likely?
zero.
Really unlikely.
Okay, fine.
Oh,
let's
okay,
work with
okay,
that.
really
Let's
unlikely.
say
Okay.
1%.
1%.
Now he demonstrates that he is 0.01 seconds away. Right? Does that shift it anywhere for you?
Yes.
It does, and that's what we're pointing to.
That's what we're saying.
So you should have said that 20 minutes ago.
Epistemic grounding in the Bible, at least.
Okay, fair enough. Thank
Right?
you. Okay.
That's the point we're trying to make.
Thank you. That's like a better explanation. Yeah. So,
Where were you, man?
so in that definition, you get like from ignorance you get like a belief to progression.
Yeah.
So
You
it's
get
a progression.
you get confidence.
Faith
Okay.
builds.
Yes.
Okay, so it's a progression of your beliefs.
Right.
Okay.
But we all start from somewhere. That's what. That's something like, for example, Plantinga makes like very clear, right? No matter what you believe, everyone starts somewhere. When you were born, right? You took your parents' word for granted. You had faith in their word. You cried, they gave you food.
Yeah,
I assume because you're alive.
yeah.
He explained it. He understood
Right.
it long
So
time ago.
that doesn't invalidate your belief that when you cry, your parents would give you food. Right? You understood that from your very conception, your birth. Right? So that alone, so faith alone is not a thing that you can negate. It's not something you put against rationality.
Well,
Faith is a
outside of
process of
Bible.
working.
Yeah.
outside of Bible, I think I can, like, because faith in the literal sense, I understand it is as, let's say,
Define it.
instead of him running, if I give the example of, I say, I believe I can fly.
You
But
believe you can.
you believe, yeah, you say you believe you can fly, but I've seen you walk all your life. You're lying to me. I can't believe you.
Yeah, but you can have blind faith, right? If you believe that I can fly, that's blind faith.
That's blind faith.
Okay.
If you don't step on top of that building and try to exercise your faith, you don't believe it.
At
At least try. We should see you on top of the building trying at
Yes.
least. You're
But the
exercising
evidence-
your faith.
the
Otherwise,
evidence-
there's no evidence that you have faith in that.
Yeah.
In your flying.
But if, let's say, like, you took a picture on social media in Spain, right? And I check all the flying records and I don't see you bought a ticket, I'm like, yo, maybe he can fly. You know, now I can have some faith in what you're saying that you can fly. Do you understand?
I'm clueless.
If you believe in something, you have to exercise the faith. If you believe you can fly, we should see you sometimes on top of those trees saying, I'll see you later, guys, trying to fly home.
Okay,
But
that's evidence, right?
if you never do that, then it means you've never exercised your
Yes,
faith.
that-
So
that-
where is evidence that you have faith in flying?
Okay, so the evidence will be me flying, right?
Not
You
necessarily.
even
No, not
trying,
necessarily.
attempting is
Not
good enough.
necessarily.
You attempting.
Me coming to Hyde Park on Sunday and you're on the top of the tree, right? One could say you climbed up there, one could say you flew up there. But the evidence now for you saying that you can fly increases now because you're in a high place where I've never seen you up there before, right? So now I can put a bit more evidence. It may not be enough for me to be like, I'll start telling everyone, oh, I found the only flying man on earth. I may not necessarily do that. But now I could be like, okay, this guy said he could fly, he's at the top of the tree. Okay.
Yeah.
And like I said, if again, you suddenly send me a picture and you're in Antarctica, right? I'm like, no one flies out there. There's no planes, no commercial planes going out there. Maybe he's on a scientific expedition. I don't know. But there's another piece of proof that this guy has traversed space, right? And he's gone to somewhere that's quite unusual where most people don't go. Maybe this guy can fly. My faith increases. But it's always based on the evidence of something that I've received from you. And then maybe one day I see you flying.
That would
Now for me, I will live and die believing that this guy has flown. Now when I go telling him, now one day you will die and I'll run around and say, listen, I saw the only flying guy on earth. Here's my written account and testimony, right? The choice for everybody else is to believe in my testimony, right?
and test your testimony.
Test my, if only you're dead, you're gone. You're gone, right? So they've only got, so then they say, so in other words,
he wrote it down.
I wrote it down and I said he flew to Antarctica at this time, whatever. So, and he went to this spot in Antarctica. So what would people do? They would go to Antarctica and see, did he leave anything? Maybe they see your jacket or they see your footprint if Antarctica preserves footprints. That's evidence for them now, right?
Does that prove I can fly?
Pardon?
He wrote it down.
No, I wrote it
He
down.
witnessed you flying.
But guys,
now he wrote it down.
Wait,
But can we just not talk in matter of degrees? Shouldn't it at least give you more reason than the time before to believe
But
something?
like, what was this, like, the concrete evidence from?
I saw it.
And he documented it.
Like, even when you see, like, me flying, right?
Oh no! If you're gonna say that I was hallucinating, then we can't do this, man. No, we can't do. Are you seeing me right now?
More than one test.
Are you seeing me? Are you
That's
seeing me
fine.
right now?
Okay, now there's 10 people that
Okay, yeah. You know what? Let's make it 12. There's 12 people that saw you. Yeah, there's 12. Right? 4 of them write an account. Yeah. Or a disciple of them writes an account. Right? So now you got 4 accounts of you flying. 11 of them.
And all the respected people.
11 of them go out and start saying this guy was flying to the point of being killed. They keep saying this guy was flying, right? And then not only that, suddenly So many people start believing in this. It rapidly blows up. Everyone is like, this guy was flying. What do we do now?
Yes, because we believe in fantastical things. Like we're easy to manipulate. Like humans will believe in fantastical
You could never be
stories.
convinced, man.
No.
Like,
You're being, I'll be
you
honest with you,
lie.
you're being stubborn.
Yeah.
That's what it is now.
are you not?
No, you're being like really. You have no grounds to be this stubborn. No grounds at all.
What do you mean I have no grounds?
No grounds at all.
How do
There's
you know
there's
that?
no justification for you to be this stubborn.
How do you know
Because what we're giving you, you're
What is your
always
burden of proof?
exactly.
What level?
That is why I say
What's
he only believes in the absence of any evidence. He believes that you as a Christian you cannot come up with any evidence.
Exactly.
That's where he's building everything
10
from.
people have quantified the same thing, the same thing observed. Still saying I can't rely on my experience because I was hallucinating. Like we wouldn't be able to get anywhere in reality.
No, like I would agree that like that's one form of agreeing in that truth that is to be true, but that's like not the concrete of way to find the truth. Testimony has never been the best way for us to find truth.
Okay, well let me. So I was saying.
I think it's. I don't know if it's. I want. Not necessarily. It's. I actually say it's quite strong.
It's a weakest
I
form.
want to get.
But it doesn't
It's
have
quite
to be
strong.
the best.
It's quite strong, especially when it's paired up with evidence. Testimony becomes extremely strong when it's paired up with
Only
evidence.
when it's paired up with that.
Right. So we've got. Oh, sorry. Let's go on.
No, I'm interjecting. Your.
No, go on. I'll do the finish. Sorry, go on.
No. So before the camera was on, I was asking what difficult questions it was, and so you're talking about like evidence about like the case of Christ and everything, and like you know extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence, right? It's like if, for instance, Jesus, we all agree that Jesus died on the cross. Historians agree that Jesus was a real person. Okay, that Jesus did in fact die on the cross. Okay, and whether or not he came back to life or not, that's something I still struggle with. But the evidence suggests that the evidence suggests that Jesus. So I'll just reiterate in a moment, but yeah, the evidence suggests that Jesus was a real person. He was crucified, and he willingly decided to like be crucified. Okay, like he wouldn't. I just want to go into depth to like what happened to Jesus, right? His back was mauled, like the tendons were ripped from the actual like nerve endings that like connect your tissue to the like the bone, right? Okay, and then he died of like a heart attack, like it was a miracle he got across to where it was, like to be able to then like be posted up on there. It's to common knowledge, actually people think that like he was hit in the palms, he was actually hit through the wrists, right? But anyway, why if someone was so like unless that guy was hallucinating his entire life, and like I personally believe that if you were to perform divine miracles, right, you would 100% be convinced that like God is real, and that you know that this isn't the end. So going through like one of the most like extreme forms of like execution, like it wouldn't really be that big of a deal, like unless you believe that like death is the end and like that's it, right? But like even to go through that is like the experience would be so unbelievable, like the amount of pain. You have to have some level of like insane conviction like to go through that. Okay, so holding on to that, we're talking about eyewitness testimony. Like most of the eyewitness testimony were women. Now, if you're trying to convince people back then that of extraordinary claims like Jesus is
Resurrected.
Why on earth would you tell people, like scholars of the time, like people that write stuff down and document it?
That woman saw the empty tomb first.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not too sure of the facts about writing it down and stuff like that, but why on earth would you then try and tell people, like in a court, by the way, all the people that, all the people that saw Jesus come to life were women, you would say that they are men, and like you wouldn't do that. So like, and the person who also documented that persecuted Christians most of his life. Yes, and he was willing to die as a Christian like until the end of his life. Yeah. Alright, so it's like all these sort of agendas. Like I don't know if there would be another agenda play, but like he could not predict in like a couple of thousand years that Jesus could still be being talked about right now. Okay.
It can be said same about Buddha and his followers.
Yeah, I haven't studied that. No.
Like it's crazy stories about his followers fought for his belief, like what he taught. and like they suffered endless persecution for what they did. Like in China, they suffered horribly.
Does Buddha believe that does Buddha proclaim that he's the son of God? No, Jesus does.
Yeah, but like Buddha said there is no God. Like, he's more like enlightenment.
Yeah, I don't mean like Taoist philosophy where it's like detachment from everything.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is his followers had gone through a lot of persecution for their beliefs. 100%. And they stuck to their beliefs. And they fought like people in China and in India against Hinduism and everything for their beliefs, and they got persecuted for their beliefs. Like I think like humans can believe in stories that they are convinced of.
These stories aren't beliefs, they are verifiable. Like they archaeological, historians agree that this person exists. It's happening.
Sure, I'm not saying like.
Sorry, I just want to say one. I don't mean to interrupt, right? I'll just one more thing. It's like it said in this book, right, that like most historians and archaeologists or something like that determine something is reliable even 500 years after the account is distinguished, right? But we've got stuff dating back from like 30 years. Like that's insane from a historical standpoint. Like think about it. Most people were illiterate. Most people couldn't read or write. But like they would have to remember things by parables. So that's why you don't find many texts like written about like the events of Jesus. They would remember it, right? And so like if you see accounts in the Bible that like there are slight discrepancies, like that actually makes it more convincing from like eyewitness testimony point, because when you recall a memory, think about how many memories you had. You've thought you
get 100% of
right? So it makes it even more convincing. So I'm convinced that Jesus was real. I'm convinced that he did die on the cross. There are good arguments for Jesus like performing miracles, but it's one of those you can neither prove nor disprove, and so that's where I think like belief comes in.
Again,
It's the resurrection, I think, is the what hinges, is the real crux, is the empty tomb.
there are so many other claims. Him claiming to be the Son of Man, Son of God.
And if he
cannot verify.
If he is the Son of God, right, then what he said was the truth, and it makes like morality objective.
Did you say you cannot verify
But
this?
otherwise, if it's not that
Jesus is not
then it
the
means
Son
that
of Man.
literally, I'm not obviously
Son of
I'm not-
God.
but like
Who,
to
Joel?
say, if I were to physically assault you,
Yeah, I
people
think
tell me
so.
that's wrong. Like, why should I listen to them? It's subjective. It doesn't matter. I'm gonna do what I want. I'm gonna have sex with that girl because I think she looks good. But I don't give a fuck. Like you should think that way.
But you can think that,
like,
but there
people
are also consequences will follow. You can do that.
Not for some people.
So
They don't think like that.
One way or the
So
other.
you're saying that you don't do that because there are consequences.
I'm not saying I'm not doing it. Like, I'm saying
what are
you
you
can do it. Like there are consequences for any action, right?
Yes, so
Any action that you take, good or bad, there are consequences.
Good or bad.
Good or
But
bad.
to you, that's subjective.
There's a reaction.
Yeah, it's good or bad. I'm saying like it doesn't matter like outside of humans. Like within ourselves, we have to
No,
operate in a way like it matters for us.
No, it can't not matter outside of us, but matter inside of us. What's inside of us, bro?
Wait, why
No, but what is the difference between outside and inside of us?
Because inside we form community, we form society.
Is community even real? What is community? That's a metaphysical thing.
Like you can like ask like is community even real?
What is community? Is love real? So if there's no love, there's no community.
Did you say there's community inside of us? Was that
No, he's asking, what is community? Is love real? If love is not real, there's no such thing as real community. Because for you to have community, you need love, no?
Why?
Oh, really?
Why?
So no love.
The community is without love.
So you don't believe? Okay.
London is a community. Do you think London has love?
So what? So all right. Okay. So in your community, then, right, that you're talking about, what community do you? What community? Define to me what community is, because to me a community or a gathering of people's community. If they all don't talk, is that community? If they all don't talk and they just stand in the same place, is that community?
I don't understand.
If they all don't talk to each other and just stand in that spot, are they a community? Well, community doesn't mean anything to you. Doesn't mean anything.
There are human societies back in the day
Where they just stood there and didn't talk. They didn't relate.
They have developed languages.
Yeah, so they didn't talk. Did they communicate?
They communicated in different ways.
Okay, I'll ask you a question. No, I'll ask you a question again. No, I'll ask you a question again. In a community, in a community that you're talking about, right? They have to communicate.
Some form, like one way or the other.
Right.
You
That's
don't
still
need love.
communication.
I would say you don't need love. Love is like we make.
Do you need communication?
Yeah.
Oh, really? Right. Is there such thing as real communication?
What do you mean by real?
Is communicating a real act?
What do you mean by real?
Oh my
Like,
gosh.
it's something that exists in the reality of what we're doing.
Is it true we're communicating right now?
It's something, isn't it? It's not. It's something.
It's arbitrary.
Oh, then there's no such. If it's arbitrary, then communities. There's no such thing as real community to
Are
you.
we communicating right
You
now?
know, it is.
In your reality, are we communicating right now?
Like we are communicating.
So it's
So that's
so
what we're
that's
talking
true.
So it's true.
It's true. Like
Like the
objectively,
sky- the sky
but it's
is
not
blue.
objective.
Like the sky-
It's
the
not
sky is blue.
subjective. We are communicating
but
in
it's
your
not
reality.
Of course, that's objective.
It's not objective. Sky is only blue because we perceive it to be blue.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
Yeah, it's not blue. Sky is not blue.
Yeah,
It's
maybe
only
different-
reflecting the
different
blue
example.
color
Yeah.
because it's absorbing
but
all the
yeah,
other colors.
yes.
And we
Like-
have eyes that.
But from my experience, that's like that connection is blue in that moment.
Yes,
in
of
my
course.
conscious mind, it is blue. So
Yes.
that's
Or the way that it refracts light is that objective.
I mean, it is independent of mind. Yes.
All right. Okay. So that's why the way the sky refracts the light from the sun is something objective is occurring there, in which it then goes into our eyes and then we paint an image in our mind. Okay, fine. We'll go back to community. Is communication objective?
No.
If the communication is not objective, you cannot believe in such a thing as community.
Does communication need a mind?
Yes.
Okay, then how can it be objective? Dude, like, if you
No,
go
yeah,
against the definition,
communication needs mind and also the laws of logic. The laws of logic are
laws of
objective.
logic are subjective. That's what I said. Laws of logic are
Then whatever you say, Joe, this whole conversation is
I'm not
fake.
saying
It's
that
fake.
It's subjective.
No.
You can call it fake.
No, it's not that you call it fake. You act. No,
maybe-
no,
let's
you
leave
act.
it.
You no, but you act.
Doesn't
No,
add
no,
any value to
no,
it.
but Joe, what do you mean? Is there such thing as value now?
I'm saying doesn't add any value.
Is there such thing as value?
I didn't prove to me if there is
No, I'm
value.
asking. You said that something.
I don't know.
You just.
Is there value?
So if you don't know if there's such thing as value or not, how do you know that what we're doing right now adds value or not?
I don't know.
So why you?
of course it adds value, doesn't it? Because you're trying to discover, like, you come in. I don't know why you come in, but like I can only assume it's because you want to have debate, and maybe you'll find a new piece of information, or maybe I'll find something from you, and I'm like, oh, I haven't thought about
Maybe a
So those are
searching.
like internal values that we project, right? Like we give a value to ourselves.
Yeah, but if you say the internal values that if you
intrinsically be there.
yeah, so if
No,
you say
it's
no.
still value. You are calling it value. It's
There's
still
no-
value.
No. If he says it's internal value that he projects, then he has to admit that value doesn't exist because it's subjective. It's not real.
There's no value. That's what I'm.
So why are you here? Why are you standing in the rain getting wet?
Why can I be here?
Yeah, but it's what
But
it's.
you are here for a reason. If you get something back, you are receiving value.
Yeah. Like,
If we receive something from you, if we learn from you and we
Yeah.
grow, you are giving value.
I mean, you can interpret as value or not.
It is value.
No, to him, it will always be. It's nothing. There's nothing happening here.
Okay, so maybe.
What do you mean it's nothing?
So maybe that.
It's so, no.
That's
Okay,
why-
no, Joe, you can't do that though. No, wait, no, Joe, you can't do that. You can't do that. You can't. It's something happening here.
Something is
Are we communicating?
Yes.
So
Am I clear?
In your reality, we are communicating.
Yes.
That's-
no, not in his reality. In the reality, are we here?
Yes.
So objectively, we're standing in Hyde Park.
Objectively, I don't know.
So then there's end of conversation. I can't do this. If you're unsure,
So that's what I was saying. In
if
his reality,
he's not sure he's here.
We involve.
In
That's
his
the problem.
reality,
That's
he's
what
not
the
sure
problem
that
is.
he's here or
He's
any
here.
of us are here.
Yes.
We can't do anything.
Yeah.
There's not more. Am I
He
lying?
might not be here, but he agrees that we are communicating right here with him.
Yeah, so at the same time, him being unsure that we're here,
Yeah.
he believes that we're here, and he believes that he can say certain sentences adhering to the laws of logic, in which he's communicating with
Yes,
us. But
yes.
at the same time, he believes nothing exists and none of that's happening.
Exactly. That's
What
where
can
the
we do?
problem is.
I
There's
didn't say
internal.
That's
conflict.
hypocritical.
No,
You don't have to say that.
From
Wait-
what you're saying, we can hear internal conflict.
Okay.
You are here, you're not here.
Yeah.
You're communicating somewhere else. You're not sure if you're, but you're communicating with us. We,
in a state of
in our,
superstition.
Yeah.
in our reality, we are here. Maybe you are not here, but we can hear you and we can communicate with you.
Yeah, state of quantum superposition, but it's not a quantum particle. How do you square that? Like, how do you do that? No.
Not completely. Okay, do you trust brain activity in your head?
I mean, I know there is brain activity happening.
You know brain, okay.
How does he know
But that's
that?
a belief, right? So that's a belief. So not only do you
Not
believe
a
in
belief.
the
I
brain,
know.
but you
I
believe
know.
in... Huh?
I know it.
Yeah, but
Not
how?
a belief. I know it.
How? Brain activity is just the bubbling up of physical events, right? The mind,
It's just
however,
chemicals.
is causing physical events. So something immaterial is now causing
What
something
do you mean
material.
immaterial?
The
There's
mind.
no immaterial, man. What do you mean?
He's
mind?
A
pure
belief-
matter.
Belief system and reason, are they real things?
Not to him.
What do you mean?
You
They're
said...
abstract.
Pardon?
They're abstract.
But you said you believe or you trust your sense perception.
I didn't say.
Huh?
I didn't completely trust myself.
You don't completely, but you trust it somewhat.
Yeah.
Right. But
To the best capability.
Sure.
Until it provides. You know,
Again, but those are all reasoning capacities. Those are functions of the mind, not the brain.
How do you know how do you differentiate between the two?
Between what and what?
The brain and the mind.
The brain is pure physical
That's-
chemistry at work, right?
Yeah.
It bubbles up from bottom down. But mind, for instance, can cause physical things.
That's
Because
kind
your
of
belief is causing you to do stuff.
For example,
it's
can you
not physical matter
quantify?
causing
For example, you love your family. Quantify that for us with chemistry,
You're
please.
presupposing that I love my family.
Well, you heard it.
Okay, hate.
You heard
Use
it.
hate. Use hate.
This is who we're talking to.
no problem.
We presuppose
Yeah.
that he loves his family.
No,
Wow,
you
Joe, how
hate.
can you say that?
No, it
You
doesn't
did.
matter. It doesn't
You
matter,
did.
Joe. Use hate. Use hate instead.
Either or, you're presupposing.
It's fine, he's going full on skeptic, it's fine.
That's too much. There's too much skepticism, man.
Fine. You have to skeptic on pretty much everything.
You-
not
you know
not
even
all
Hume
parents
couldn't,
deserve love, and not all children deserve love.
Flipping out, man. I don't
Do you
know.
remember saying something about something being
said all
immaterial?
children
You
deserve
don't
love.
believe
Not all
anything
children deserve
being
love.
immaterial.
But some do.
Huh?
Some do.
But some do. According to what standard?
I think when you were talking about
So he doesn't believe in anything being immaterial.
that's what
Nothing.
And then
But
you
that belief
proceeded
is
to talk.
immaterial.
Yes, but then you proceeded to talk about the brain and the mind, and you wanted to know the difference between the two. Brain, material. Mind, immaterial.
that the brain
But that belief is immaterial. That was a good one.
Light.
Nah, he would say photons for that.
You say photons.
Yeah, it's both a wave and a particle.
Like if they were
So
take
light in some sense is material, I guess.
or there's no kind of apparatus
okay,
to be able
yo.
to detect the colour yellow in the brain. It might be able to say okay, this part of the area of the brain is activated when they see the colour yellow, but they can't actually physically see the colour yellow.
Yeah, because
So
color yellow
something is
doesn't.
intangible.
The problem is, from
If you
there we
cannot
go on
touch
to
it,
the yellow actually
it
has real
immaterial?
life implications.
Say,
So
for
it's
example,
not just
that's
a
why
one-way
I
track,
came up with
right?
that
From
idea of
mind-
light.
sorry,
No, lights, they say is.
You cannot touch it.
Yeah, well, I'll talk to you after.
Yeah.
Right, you're not just processing yellow. Yellow actually now has a real effect. So now mind is causing something real. Because now you've categorized yellow,
The problem is you're saying yellow as real thing.
But if yellow
but you treat it as real, is what I'm saying.
experiential.
That's what I'm saying. Does the yellow is the refraction of light? Something happening there? Is the light waves, like the prism, the glass prism, is that real? Is light being refracted into different wavelengths?
Your
Bro,
perception
then
of that,
yellow
is that-
exists.
Yeah. Your perception of that, is that reality to
Can you prove
you?
that?
So does when you see a when you see a rainbow, when you
guys can prove it, it'd be
when
great.
no, I don't think you're not when you
We're saying in
standard of
your
Exactly.
reality, in your reality,
Evidence.
For what?
Anything. So you're asking
Now I
for
don't
proof.
have standard of.
You're asking for proof, but you have no way to measure proof or evidence.
On yellow.
Huh?
on anything.
What do you mean on anything?
Because every time we give you evidence,
That-
you go a step further. You go a step below. You keep going to the point where
You're
to
negating
the
the very
point
mechanism.
exactly.
excuse me, what color is this? What color is this?
Black. Okay, I have a question.
In your reality, this is black. Replace that now with yellow. Does yellow exist?
it's still black.
No, that's still no. I said if this was yellow,
Yeah.
and I showed it to you, you would say yellow.
Yeah.
So in your reality, yellow exists.
And so does black and all the rest of the
So
colours.
But it doesn't exist objectively. That's
So in other words,
No, I said in your reality, it exists.
Yeah,
That's
objectively.
the only reality we are interested in.
Yes, I have no problem. I have no problem saying that yellow exists in my reality.
You don't have a problem with that.
No problem with that.
The problem is he can't justify the belief in yellow.
Judges,
That's the problem.
in Judges,
That's
it says
When it
they
comes,
became
comes outside of myself.
Yes.
they became. What does it say? Became
Well,
God
that-
in their own mind or something
Our
like that.
reality, like in things like this, it's everything. It's yellow. I didn't tell you. I didn't tell you this was black. But you say black. You say black.
like,
I'm saying black.
No, but I say red.
But it's like we only.
If you
that-
said red,
yeah.
you would object to that. The same way that you say.
What do you mean, of course?
Of course I will object, but like he would be also correct.
But that is your reality. On this one, it is black. That's your reality. That's everyone's reality. That's reality as far
But
as
you
you
know,
are
there
concerned.
are people who are colorblind, right?
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question? Like,
They will not see it as black. Or
I'll ask you another question, Joel.
Yeah.
Would it be wrong?
No, we wanted to know your reality on the things that we were talking about.
Hold on. Let's put it this way. I'll ask you something now. Let's say that, bit personal, someone you know gets killed, right? They're dead.
Murder or kill?
They're killed. They're gone. They're murdered. They're murdered, right? Right? You confront the murderer.
Right, so it is a murder.
Yeah, yes. I said they get murdered.
Okay, so that's
You confront the murderer. The murderer says, hey, I don't know what you're accusing me of, but he's still alive. He's still alive in my reality. What do you do now?
I'm gonna beat the shit out of him
On what grounds?
because he hurt my friend.
No, but in his reality, the friend is standing there.
It is my reality. He
His
killed my friend.
reality.
See, you're abandoning your worldview now. You've left your worldview.
No,
You've left it.
Please tell me how.
No,
Because
no,
why?
because the reality to you is dead. He
You just
killed your
said
friend.
exactly. You just said
But
that
in
when
that-
I looked at his phone,
Yes.
and I said it's red. You said
Yeah.
I'm correct, right? So that person, that murderer who killed your friend, right? He's correct to say that his friend is alive. You have no reason to beat me up.
Why are you beating him up?
But I'm also correct in beating him up because I believe.
So everyone's correct.
But I don't think you're recognizing belief is a product of a mind. It's immaterial.
No, it's not. I don't.
But how do
agree
you
with
go from perceiving those facts to then making beliefs about it? Reason itself is immaterial.
Yes,
You're going
the
beyond
act of reasoning.
the evidence
Yeah.
or beyond the sense perception.
How can you
So now
how can you?
have
Sorry,
a
go.
two-way stream. It's not only brain activity, the brain that's causing you to do things, but the immaterial mind is now causing you to physically do things. Because you're making beliefs and rationalizations. They're not
the
material
brain,
things.
From the brain activity.
Pardon?
From the brain
From
activity.
brain activity.
Yeah, so I have no problem with.
Okay,
No,
then-
but the belief is not part of brain activity. Okay, because point belief to me, like explain belief.
Like I would say, like what I believe is like consciousness and the brain. What I believe is we have a predictive model. Like our brain is a prediction model.
Okay.
So our brain constantly make predictions about what real world is. So like you said, it's bottomed out.
But
And then
prediction itself is a process. It's a rational
it's a process.
It could be rational. It could be biological.
No, you need to know. No, you need to know. No, you need to know. You need to know.
It's beyond senses.
Yeah,
it's beyond your senses.
Exactly. It's not. It always or it's either or it's purely. It's like if you're a materialist, it's purely biochemical. So that means you. So in other words, all you need to do is produce for us the biochemical equation as to how for reason. That's all you need to do.
Yeah.
Biochemical.
Because if you're saying that it's completely if it's completely material and all that's in your head is neurons firing and that's just electricity moving from point A to point B, all you need to do is show us the chemical equation for that. That's all you need to do, and you say that's reason. Then you can point. Then you will be able to actually say this is reason and that's not
So
reason.
once I do that, you'll leave all the religion. Okay, we'll see you next week.
No, let's hear it.
See you next week.
My gosh.
Okay, like
When people go into MRIs, sorry,
You said that you believe in this as well, like you believe in that process, but you told your version of belief is that belief is ignorant, so by your own definition, you're being ignorant.
So belief is in ignorance. That's what you're
Yeah, like earlier.
Lewis, you're cooking now, man.
earlier you were just saying, I'm not trying to like be,
no, it's okay.
there's no animosity, I appreciate it. Just, like you were saying, that like you trust, like you believe that like consciousness and like anything associated with it, even belief itself, is just some kind of neurochemical process, some state that can be created physically by the brain, right? But you said that is your belief, there is actually no proof that is the case, right? So therefore, there's no definitive proof of it, like the conscious mind that we experience is like as a direct result of these chemical processes. But you even used.
I mean, I did, yes.
Yeah, but by your own definition, you said that belief is ignorant. So you're ignorant
of your own self. Yeah, see, you're floating, man.
Like, I mean, I agree with you. I agree with you, and I still believe in this.
No, that's
without
irrational.
Completely, like, understanding how it works. Like, I have a little bit of knowledge on how it works, but it makes sense. So I believe it's one way how it works.
So because earlier you said that belief. I know it's just like maybe you're muddling up terms, but
For faith, I would say.
yeah, faith and belief are the same thing.
No, I would say faith is belief and lack of evidence.
We just spent.
You agree with you on like the biblical evidence.
By that definition, you have faith that the chemical process in your brain and everything is illicit.
Yes, we can say that, no problem.
You have faith in that, but you have no evidence because you define faith as a lack of evidence. Then you have faith. Listen, I said you have faith,
Blind faith.
right?
Not blind faith.
No, it's
I
blind.
have faith because there is like no.
You said
I have a definition.
the way you define faith is the way you define faith is lack of evidence. You got no evidence, right? Right. So you have no evidence that the chemical reactions in your brain are the beginning processes of a mind. You have no evidence for that. Yeah, you believe that.
Yeah, I believe there are theories that give prediction models. There are theories who says that
Who cares about theories? Are they evidence?
No, theories and models, he addressed
with
that.
evidence.
He addressed that.
But how do you explain that belief or that rationale by sense perception alone, by sensory input?
Forget the methodology.
I cannot go outside of myself to prove why that. I can only use sense.
Your beliefs based on those things that you can't go outside of yourself.
Yes, that's the only option I have.
Right, but what I'm saying that belief, whatever you want to term that is a product of something immaterial, not caused by something material.
How? That's what I want to know. Why do I just say it's immaterial?
You are acting and behaving based on an immaterial belief of yours, not sensory input. That's what I'm saying. There's a divide between what your sensory input can produce and then what your mind can produce. Your sensory input can just tell you what something is, right? Yet you connect patterns, you draw patterns, right? You produce a rationale and you say, therefore I do this.
That's an
Because
immaterial
I see
process.
This, therefore I do this.
Yes.
That
Yeah,
therefore
like, I wouldn't say it's immaterial. I would say that process is still happening.
okay, but what sense perception can you point to say that led to this?
Because I mean, I still don't know what you're trying to.
What is actually
Okay, what part of that is material?
and what did he say the whole part is material?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, but if the whole part is material,
You believe immaterial doesn't exist.
Yeah.
yeah. So if the whole part of that's material, right? You need to show us every single. That it means it's measurable. That means it's measurable, right? Every decision that you make, you are actually saying it comes from a thing that can be measured, right? Every
sensory input.
and each of the steps, all the way from the beginning to the final to the end, every single process can be perceived or measured, right? So when you say that you love your family, you have the belief, then you have the act. What is the measure in between that? How do you quantify that?
cannot quantify.
But yet
So-
you act upon it.
Like,
That's the problem.
That's the thing. Like, I'm not saying love is like a real thing or like.
No. But you treat it as if it's real.
You treat it
What is
as
the
if it's real.
justification?
Yeah, why do you treat love as a real thing?
Because it's not just sensory perception. That's what I'm saying. You hold to a worldview where
In
everything is
essence,
material.
Like my respect to my parents, my love for like all the.
Well, how is that real? How's that
It's
real?
sensory, right? Like I experience.
What
love
chemical
from
is respect?
like,
Nah, I'm not kidding. What chemical goes off in your brain that's like, this is the chemical of respect?
dopamine, serotonin, like all of them.
Impossible.
No.
Impossible.
Because dopamine is for everything. When I take drugs, am I respecting the drugs? Like, you get
Or can you
dopamine from
distinguish
drugs.
a love for your parents with, I don't know, that person over there.
Yes,
How? Why?
but like your experience.
But
That's like the sensory.
But you're taking your experiences and you're forming a belief from those experiences.
Which come from my brain.
Right, but you're transitioning from physical state
To
mental
emit,
state.
exactly.
Yeah,
I'm asking
I'm
how
saying
you do that
Even in
when
my mental
the
state.
mental state is immaterial.
Why do you say it's immaterial?
Because belief is you can't produce belief from sensory input. Can you demonstrate it? Like you take the belief of loving your parent differently to loving that person. Right? What sensory input can you point to that makes that distinction for you?
It's about the care. Right? Like
Pardon?
my mother's care is different from a stranger.
Yeah, but that's evidential and that's faith.
Oh, what do you mean?
In the sense that he will look at the evidence of how I don't know, his mum treats him and how everyone else treats him. And so then he will have faith that his mum has more love than everyone else. He will have faith that his mum exercises more love to him than everyone else because of the evidence of what he sees his mum do for him.
Yeah, but that rationalization of the evidence
that process
is immaterial.
Yeah.
Like I'm saying
Yeah,
it's not immaterial. I'm saying
No, it is.
still
Weighing. Yeah.
biological.
No, it's not. The reasoning, the act of reasoning. What I just
You
explained.
believe it's immaterial, but he believes immaterial doesn't exist.
No, but what I'm saying,
So
I
how
know
are you-
that,
how
no,
are
yeah,
you gonna come
but
together?
he's still making he's jumping the gap.
Yeah, so
Yes,
that
there's
what
a gap there.
Yeah, what I just explained in the sense that he looks at the evidence of what his mum
His
does for
mum
him,
is- yes.
and he looks at the evidence of what everyone else does to him.
Yes.
That process,
Yes.
we are saying that process is immaterial.
Yes, which doesn't exist in his world.
In his world, it doesn't exist. Yet he chooses to have faith that his mum has more love for him than everyone else.
Yes.
So the process of him weighing up the evidences, thinking about rationalizing why his mum loves him more than everyone else, we're saying that part is immaterial.
That's still material.
You need to
quantify that.
then if that's you can quantify that. You can quantify when you're using the law of identity.
Are you going to law of identity?
You can
So that's fine. Okay, so
can
you're
you
measuring
prove
love
that
by
it's material?
Your mum, for example. This is a gross example, but your mum hugged you 20 times. That stranger has hugged you different 0 times. So therefore, that produces a different affection for your mum than for that stranger, right? But you have a belief that comes from that, right? So let's say 10, I don't know, dopamine molecules are fired for your mum, 0 for the stranger, right? But now you've made the assessment, okay, mum gives 10, the stranger gives 0, but you are now comparing the two, right?
Reasoning.
Which is using reasoning process. It's beyond sensory input. All sensory input is telling you, mum gives 10, stranger gives 0. Now you're
Therefore,
saying
mum
that,
is loving.
you can't have a therefore or a because of
Yeah.
from mental states alone.
Say again.
Oh, okay. So you've grown up, right? You're how many ever years old? Your mum, whenever you see her, gives you 10 dopamine molecules in your brain.
Yeah.
Right?
Her interactions with you gives you 10 dopamine molecules.
Yeah. That's a stranger over there gives you 0. Right? I asked you, do you love your mum more than the stranger? You said yes. And you said that's because you can measure that biologically. right? Because 10 dopamine is better than 0, therefore it produces
and the evidence is
right. Now, when I asked you that question, you compared that 10 dopamine with the 0, and you've now measured and compared and said that the 10 is better than the 0.
You've actually given the 10 more value than the 0.
But that valuation is
you have.
material and a product of
No,
the
have you or
mind.
have you not? Have you?
Yeah.
Have you
that
not?
was not the only thing I said.
No, but no, just don't
If you could just answer that.
don't move. Yeah, don't move from this.
Yeah, I'm not moving.
You have evaluated the 10 and the 0.
zero.
That process of evaluating that, yeah,
It's not brought about by a
but
sensory
by
input.
exactly.
Where does that happen?
But that's what we're saying.
That's the mind.
That's the product of an
saying
immaterial
I'm saying
mind.
it happens in your brain. I don't think.
Okay, so then that means you need to
In your
point.
brain, but the process is immaterial.
Yes,
How do you know
exactly.
Yeah, you need because you need to point towards another process that weighs up dopamine,
That's
bro.
fine. Like we can look into it. Like when you say it's a material, you guys have to show what it's a material. Like why the process? Like if anything is happening, like all these processes, like love, logic, like reason, everything being immaterial.
We show
that
we
you claim to be material, and that we access material. You say we access the material, correct?
what do you mean by as in what, like the laws of logic?
I just lost logic. Do we access the immaterial?
We
Yes.
use the immaterial.
Yeah,
Yes.
yes.
So we access the material.
Yeah.
So as somebody who doesn't believe in the material,
Immaterial.
In the immaterial.
doesn't believe, doesn't believe in the immaterial, please, I'm begging you guys to
Right.
like,
So that's
prove
what.
to me why you guys believe in the
But we've just shown
Sensory
you.
input
Sorry.
tells you 10 dopamine, 0 dopamine. That's
Why do you
all it
choose the
gives
10?
you. That's all the facts that
Yeah,
it
that's
gives.
all you got.
Now
Why
you
do
are
you choose
comparing
10?
and saying, therefore, my action toward my mum should be
The
greater?
problem is I'm not comparing.
Pardon?
I'm not comparing.
But when I asked you the question,
so
you
I-
did. So you possess the
like
capacity
my comparison would come from like the evidence. That's why I would say
This is one of the
Bro,
evidences.
the evidences of your interaction with your mom is what fuels your dopamine up here. Yes,
Exactly.
yes,
That's why you get
what-
the
yes.
10
Wait,
and
yes.
the
No,
0.
wait. Yes.
what fueled it.
The interactions with your mom fuels the
Interactions with
right.
your mom.
Your interaction.
That's the key,
Wait,
yeah.
no, hey, wait.
That's the
No, it's not the key. You wait. You interact with someone else, some stranger who does nothing for you. No dopamine is flying.
Yeah, so what-
Right.
What's the interaction?
So no, wait.
With
Wait.
your mom is 10.
Wait.
So the interaction is
Wait. Now, you have now decided that you are, I guess, in your living or whatever, you're more devoted to the well-being of your mother than this guy, right? Yeah. Because you have got these feelings from your mom, or this from the dopamine, which is the physical part.
Yeah.
But the decision to direct yourself to your mother and disregard my man over here, right? That process, that what Obed is talking about, that's immaterial.
no, I would not say. It's
How is it material?
Let me.
How is it material?
Like,
What mechanism chooses between dope? That references dopamine levels within each other.
Bearing in mind, your answer will now answer like 3,000 years worth of debate.
Trust.
So
You will be the
how is it
leading psychiatrist.
How
I
is
don't know.
it material?
I'm not claiming that to be. I don't claim to know all the answers. But from what I understood,
Where you stopped, how is it material? That's what
yeah,
you wanted
that's what
to
I'm
know.
trying to say. You're correct that I am differentiating my love for my mom with my experiences and the dopamine level that I feel.
Yeah.
And the process that you're saying is immaterial, I would say is not there. I would say it's a material process that is happening in your brain.
Okay, tell us the gap.
That is where I'm not consciously deciding one over the other. While my brain is subconsciously is choosing.
But then or you're just pushing it back a level.
He is. He's pushing it. And
Pushing it back a
I've
level.
asked him before about the subconscious, right? If it's true, it's all just subconscious level.
Sorry?
If it's true, that's all just subconscious, right?
What do you mean? All
Like the decision process in which
It's just the
you're not aware
subconscious. You're not aware of it. You're just making these choices. When people do painful things, right? When they put their hand on fire, are they not overriding a subconscious effort to remove their hand from the? They're not.
They have to, no, that's, I'm sorry, I disagree with that. They'd have to be overriding a subconscious process because it's against the idea of self-preservation to put yourself
Because they're going against.
Like those guys that protested, that set themselves on fire.
Because naturally, you want to be away from the
Let me
heat.
explain why I would say you cannot go against the natural. You can go against it and say, oh, you want to put for a limited time.
No,
No,
you could do it to the point of death.
There's evidence of people doing
But
it.
if their like brain is not connected to the
Wow.
There was I think it was in like 1980.
Yeah, the guy who set himself on fire to protest.
because there are some people who are like don't get brain receptors to their brain. They would not
Are
literally
you
feel any
are
pain.
you saying that there's something wrong with that person?
Not
Or you oh no, you're
Did I
saying
say that?
okay.
Don't
Well,
put words in my mouth. Let me hear what I have to say.
No, he's asking a question.
Yeah, like he also like was trying to say something. Like
I asked it threateningly, to be fair.
I'm saying like there are humans that have no pain receptors to their brain.
Yeah, that's
so,
fine.
So when they try to put their hand in the flame, they will not literally get any pain.
So
They can literally put their-
so those.
If we like normal people, if we're trying to.
Are you saying that? Oh, hold on. No, wait, Joel. Wait, Joel. Just wait a second. Those people, I need to look up this person's name. But there are people who,
It's quite rare for people to
Quite
have.
rare, yeah. I think
No, but that person who did it in protest, you're saying he didn't have access to his pain receptors. That's what you're
Maybe,
saying.
I don't know all the information.
Okay, but how is that relevant? What's the point?
Because I was saying that if he's saying that all decisions are subconscious, that's what he's trying to say. That's what he's saying. And I said, if all decisions are subconscious, when someone puts their hand on top of fire and decides to keep it there, they're overriding a subconscious effort to remove their hand.
no. Such
The only reason that they would keep their hand there is because their mind is the one that's overriding that subconscious effort to remove their hand.
can fast for 3 days.
If he's saying it's all material,
Yeah.
No.
But sense perceptions happen in the conscious mind, not the subconscious mind.
People do that.
well, you then have to ask him if he thinks he's conscious right now. Maybe he's saying
But
subconscious.
he doesn't know.
I'm not
Yeah,
saying
exactly. He doesn't know.
override it, get rid of completely. You
for
cannot
a
do that.
limited period, you can.
Come on, limited period.
I mean, you could if you killed yourself. You could, and then they
But even killing themselves is not like they don't have control over themselves. Like some people.
Well, maybe, actually, you could say that there are very logical reasons to kill yourself. There are some scenarios where
Yeah,
it
but
makes
I'm
sense.
saying people who have like no control over themselves. Like they just do it. Because
What does it even mean to not have control over yourself? What is the not having control
you
of
don't have free
yourself?
will.
Huh?
There's no free will.
No, but if there's no, this,
But what do you mean by self?
exactly self. What is even that?
Self is a big term. Like,
You can't say that someone has no control over themselves when all they are is a material automaton or
self is
something.
like an accident, right? Like Jungian has like a different notion of self.
Do selves exist? No,
Just a
no.
Just a quick.
They can't in your world, man. They can't. If you're fully
Because
material,
that's an immaterial
Yeah, exactly. A self isn't a material thing, so selves don't exist. There is no yourself. There is no control of yourself.
Yeah, just a
There
quick.
can't. There
check.
is any of that.
Just a quick check. Do you feel
You just
like
accept.
Wait. Okay. So now you've admitted that there is a bridge between the immaterial and the material. You're just now.
Where?
You just said that the self is immaterial.
I didn't say that.
No, he doesn't believe the self exists.
You don't believe the self
Yeah,
exists.
yeah.
Oh,
That's
okay,
what I
fine.
said.
But then how do you talk about yourself?
How do I talk about myself?
Yeah. When you communicate something about yourself and you say like I
as a
am
biological organism.
Yeah, I think so. I think you think.
what's your understanding of self? Your definition.
Complicated.
No, explain. No
but
problem.
I think I know where he's coming from in the sense that, like, you think we're a collection of models, like different algorithms, you could say, processing. It's such a complex, it's such a complex interaction that to like even be able to see through those models would mean like consciousness would cease to exist at all. Like I get what you're saying from that point, but even then, like, there's no evidence to like. Going back to the idea of like where is the colour yellow in the brain, it's like there is no evidence like to suggest that the colour yellow, like the actually experientially seeing it, like what we're seeing right now, there's no way to science has not quantified that at all because it's the whole problem of consciousness. So like for you to say, oh well, I believe that, it's like I know we've already gone over it. It's still a belief.
The hard problem of consciousness to say why we have subjective experiences.
No, that's not the hard.
It's time to wrap up.
Yeah, I was about to say. Yeah, I know. Sorry guys. It's alright if we just wrap up so we can let him go. You watched it all. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. God bless you. Remember, Jesus is the reason for the season. We're talking about a lot there. A lot of it's got to do with materialism and atheism. I think long story short is without God you can't justify the immaterial. You can't justify love, morality, the laws of logic, your own mind. You can't justify any of these things without grounding it in an immaterial source. The way we do that is with God, and for us as Christians, God manifested himself in Jesus Christ, our Son. The Son of God. So, yeah, Merry Christmas to you all. Pray for Lewis. This is my first time speaking to him. He's the brother of another Christian that comes to the park, and I think if people are watching, you can see that he's saying a lot of things like the kingdom. He's close to the kingdom of God, I think, according to what Jesus said about that Pharisee that was asking questions about being born again. He's asking a lot of these questions. You can see with the way he was reasoning, even with Joel, who I've spoken to Joel many times. He is a very strong atheist, and even the way that Lewis was talking to him and tackling him, I would say he's really close to the kingdom of God. So yes, please pray for him. But yeah, Merry Christmas to you all. Do you guys want to?
Good guy.
Do you guys want to say anything?
No, you covered it.
Yeah, just one more thing. Do you mind expounding on the issue of love and connecting it to Christmas? Because that's one of the things that you covered. I listened to you cover that for a while.
The thing about so Lewis asked a question a lot earlier on about how can we have a loving God with all of the evil and so on. I first asked him to define what love is, and he realized that you can actually define an objective love. And so then we were like, okay, let's just what does Christianity say? Jesus, who we believe to be God, said, no greater love than this for a man to lay down his life for his friends. The miraculous birth of Jesus Christ is how we now have faith that God has demonstrated his love for us by taking on the sin of the world and I believe redoing that condition that he gave to Adam and Eve. Adam and Eve had no sin, but they were given a choice. Jesus Christ, by dying for our sins, has given us a choice to freely choose him or freely choose ourselves. And so because he loves us, he has come into the world and taken on this suffering. So we believe in a God that has also suffered like us. We believe in a God that's also been tempted like us. Because of this, we now have evidence that we know what real love is. So yes, Merry Christmas to you all. Happy New Year. And yeah, pray for us people at the corner.